I'm a one-trick. You can yell at me later because I think one-tricking is quite the topic in the Overwatch community. Overwatch is a pretty fun game, subjective, and I love playing this game. It's fast-paced, sometimes it makes you want to do unspeakable things to your teammates, and it has a wide selection of heroes. You want to play tank? There's a whole roster at your disposal. Want to play DPS? Try one of the many heroes there are. Want to play support? Bam, look at that, there's quite a bit. With so many heroes to choose from, the game offers a lot of variety, replayability, and especially with the different playstyles each hero brings. There's something for everybody. Some are fast-paced, some are not. But with the heroes you play, there's going to be at least a couple that catch your attention. If you're a more precise, hit scan type of player, bam, we got good old point and clicks. We got some good point and click adventures. You want to do cool movement techs? Just play Doomfist or Ball. There's for sure a hero that fits your desired playstyle and personality. Specifically for me, I really like some Cassidy, some Soldier, some Brig, but one hero I adore of all characters, if you couldn't tell by now, is Junkrat. Junkrat's gameplay is very familiar to me and very explosive. He's also a projectile hero, which I tend to gravitate to in games. I have such a good time playing him, and I almost exclusively play him. He's got the trap, the concussion mines, his combo, and it feels really good hitting directs and sometimes air shots. An amazing hero I will play till I get sick of Overwatch itself. However, doing that brings a lot of problems and issues, but at the same time, I love Junkrat too much. Like, I love to dedicate just all my time just playing this one hero because of the joy I get from him. Plus, I want to play any hero I want, and I'm gonna play Junkrat. For the non-gamers or non-Overwatch people in the crowd, one-tricking is when you pick a singular hero to only play as and only play that hero for 24/7, no matter the situation. If they run a full team of counters or play a hero on the map despite their hero, being bad on said map, you still play that hero. That's one-tricking. It also comes from the term one-trick pony, obviously. Even if the map is absolute dog water for your hero choice and pick, you still just brute force it. It's like shoving a square into a circle hole. That's the one-trick experience. This is a 50-50 situation because there's a lot of specific maps in Overwatch where some heroes are just better than others, where you can just get more value by playing a singular hero on that map. One example I can think of is Circuit Royale with snipers and hit scans, and Junkertown with the same thing. There's a lot of good sightlines for hit scans and snipers to just dominate there, even after the Junkertown rework, which kind of did something, added more cover, which is nice, but I think snipers are still pretty good on Junkertown. An example for Junkrat one-tricks would be Nepal Sanctum or Lijiang Tower Control Center, two quintessential Junkrat maps. However, forcing a bad hero on a bad map is usually pretty horrible, but the other side of this argument is that after a long time, after playing the hero 24/7 without switching, you get to a point of knowing how to play around the map itself and making it work for yourself and for your team. After all the accumulated game sense over time, it still doesn't make the map any better for the hero, but the game sense becomes more important for success. This space is bad for me. Maybe if I play around the spots that are good for me, maybe I can make it better. Hooray. Basic game sense stuff when you become accustomed to the game and a specific hero. It's a real coin toss, but something that's pretty consistently bad besides, playing a hero on the wrong map are counters. Counters are a really complicated thing to talk about, kinda. It's pretty simple when you just say it out loud, like, oh man, D.Va got this defense matrix. Oh wow, it can eat projectiles and bullets. Bam, D.Va's counter is Zarya. She has a laser beam that shreds through defense matrix because it's just a laser, not a projectile or bullet. Pretty simple. One hero exploits another hero's weaknesses, basically. It only gets complicated when you talk about if Overwatch needs counters baked into its core gameplay, or whether or not all heroes should be viable, to a degree or not. Most people are pretty split about this, because if you like a specific hero, and it's just made completely useless due to another hero completely negating that hero, it kinda sucks, because half of the time, they'll counterpick and it'll just make your hero useless due to just another hero being picked, that another player counterpicked specifically for you, just to exploit your weaknesses and win. It kind of sucks too, because with this many heroes and counting, it would be pretty hard to make every single hero in the game viable in every single situation. Counterpicking is pretty bad, especially in tank, simply because there's one tank now, which means it's just one of you and not another tank to cover your weaknesses like how you could in Overwatch 1. If you go into like a Zarya versus Winston, it'll be a pretty big uphill fight because Zarya can't really absorb damage from a Winston. This is especially a bit more bad now, ever since tanks got giga buffed, since all tanks are beefier and stronger. The counter picking is a bit worse because each individual tank is stronger at what they do. In DPS, it's pretty weird too. I'm gonna use Junkrat because he's the one I know all about, especially the counters. The quintessential Junkrat counter is Pharah, and I guess Diva and Echo to a lesser extent, but it's usually Pharah. While playing Junkrat into Pharah is peak Sisyphus simulator. Junkrat is great for just spamming and bouncing stuff off walls, unless the enemy's up in the air. Pharah is the Junkrat counter pick. She exploits his arc and slow projectile speed and ricochet just by, you know, kind of playing God and flying up in the air like a bug. And since I'm a one-trick, it's quite the fight. Now don't get me wrong, there will be situations where the Pharah just kind of isn't that good or just kind of sucks at playing Pharah. Or you get really lucky and you catch the Pharah off guard, or you just have a cracked team that helps you with your weaknesses. But it doesn't change the fact that one-tricking into a counter is a pretty big uphill fight. I don't know enough about support counter picks besides like Ana or Kiriko, but I'm pretty sure there's more than just those two. But overall, yeah, one-tricking is fun and all, but full setting into a comp that has at least one or two more counters on a team is definitely going to be hard. One-tricking Junkrat into numerous Pharahs and Echoes and Divas have taught me what pain really is. Not even that, but your team will probably flame you, or at the very least be like very passive aggressive and a little bit annoyed that you're a one-trick who won't swap off when a team fully counters you. Whenever this happens, I tend to put myself into my teammates' shoes. Imagine you're just doing you. You're just playing Overwatch, trying to grind up the ranks. Your tank is a Doom. You guys win a fight, but then the enemy tank switches to Orisa, and the enemy DPS switches to Cassidy and Sombra. It's a ton of tough fights, but overall, the enemy team ends up getting a big lead. Your team is trying their best, but having a doomfist being constantly exploited and hacked by his counters is going to be tough to win from. Your teammates are constantly asking for you to swap, but the doomfist is just like, no. And you guys proceed to lose despite all of your efforts. You proceed to avoid this guy. It's like telling your team, don't worry guys, I'm gonna cook. Don't worry guys, bear with me. Come on guys, stay with me. Don't worry guys, I got this. I'll carry you guys, it's okay. It's probably really frustrating for your teammates to have to deal with a hero who can simply switch and get more value on a different hero with half of the effort needed to play and outplay the counters in the map. Granted, it doesn't matter as much in quick play, but in comp, those people are there to win. They don't want some ball one-trick going 2-10. Especially the other team, they'll probably counterpick just to, you know, have an easier time winning. Team comps tend to matter way more when you grind out of those like little metal ranks and you proceed to touch the high peaks. A good team synergy is a really good key for success. That's how we have these categories like poke, dive, rush, where specific characters paired together create an incredible synergy when played together. Some really good and popular synergies are Doomfist plus a dive character like Genji, Ryan Lucio, and a ton of horrible synergies that make me want to put my hand under a saw blade. This is where one-tricking becomes a slight problem. You see, when you play a hero 24/7, 365, every hour, every minute, you're not really gonna fit into a majority of team comps. Now, this isn't really a problem in quick play, like everybody's just kind of memeing there, and they're just playing just for fun, you know, just because it's quick play. The nature of quick play is to be more casual and whatever. You could run into whatever you want because it's less serious. You're not gonna die if you run Doom into Orisa, because this isn't Champion Series, bro. But it doesn't make it any less harder to make it work. When you're playing only one hero, you're not really gonna fit into like a dive comp. If you're playing something like, I don't know, freaking Bastion, it also becomes more important to fit into a team when you're in a more serious competitive environment for an easier win and to ensure success. Being a one-trick myself, it's always a sight to see having an ultra coordinated team and then just seeing this random dude playing Junkrat lobbing bombs at people. You love to see it. I mean, most of the time people can make it work. Like if you're good enough at your designated hero, then having a hero not fit into a comp isn't really a big deal as long as you're doing your job well. Like, it's unideal, like most people will just want you to switch, but if you're cooking, you're cooking. It's simple as that. One-tricking can be pretty bad, so why do I one-trick and play one hero sometimes? Well, it's simple. I love this hero, and I want to put all my effort into being the best I can be at this hero. It's like that one quote, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 10,000 times. I love this mindset because having focused practice into just one thing is a pretty good way to become the best at that thing. Why play every hero when I can dump all my effort and resources into one? Why split my energy to multiple roles and be okay and decent at them when I could play one role and become the most knowledgeable at that one instead? I think one-tricking is actually a pretty good way to learn how to play a hero and to get accustomed to that hero. One-tricking can really help you learn how to position and what choices you need to be making on a hero if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing on that hero. I remember playing Overwatch 2 for the first time and just getting the thought, I want to become the best at Junkrat. I want to become the best I can be. I want to max out my stats on Junkrat and see how far I can go with him. And ever since, I've just kept the grind going. Sure, there's been highs and some really bad lows. I'm looking at you, Season 9. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how far I've kept the one-tricking thing going. Also, I just love Junkrat too much. I'm sure other hero communities can say the same thing about their dedicated heroes. Plus, when it comes to constantly playing a single hero over and over again, it helps you learn how to play to your strengths and into your weaknesses. With enough time, you'll learn how to play on maps you're bad on, and you'll find ways to negate your weaknesses, even learning how to exploit your counters and play around them, given enough time. Plus, you'll get so good that people will hate you just for existing. That's such a good thing. And above all else, I just like playing Junkrat. I could play something else for variety, but for pure enjoyment, I play Junkrat. He's my favorite. It's nice just playing heroes I want to play, and even in times of losing, it's all just a learning experience to do better for future games, in my opinion. If I'm playing Overwatch, I'm playing the heroes I want to play, which I guess is selfish, but it's for the enjoyment factor. Like, I just like Overwatch, I like Junkrat. I'm gonna play Junkrat. Another good argument for one-tricking is the fact that, yeah, I can switch to something better, but in order to fully improve myself, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations where it will be hard to win. This is where learning to be flexible and to adapt to those outcomes and situations can really help improve your overall skill at the hero and at the game in general. Switching could be a band-aid solution, but staying on your hero and learning how to adapt and overcome can offer a great learning experience. I can never really improve and learn if you switch off and not put yourself into less than desirable situations. You need some challenges here and there. You went 0 and 5? Splendid. Time to look at the replay itself and see how you can improve your positioning and your decision making. Looking at replays is a great way for everybody to learn how they could play better in the future, and it's just in general a good way to improve your game sense and your knowledge at the game. It's hard to say though. I love one-tricking and I love to put all my energy into one hero, but at the same time, it comes at the expense of others. It's all in the pursuit of being the best I can be, but still, it's also good to be aware of how one-tricking affects other people. Listen, I love to one-trick, but I'm also hyper aware it's on me to be the best I can be and to do the most I can do, even in the worst situations. I'm not the main character. I am not God. I'm not some cracked gamer. I'm freaking Jesse the Junkrat. Or just Jesse. Which leads me to my next point. Egos! Yeah, you gotta keep them in check. It's good to tame them. Just because I'm pretty decent on Junkrat doesn't mean I'm good. I would argue I still have a ton to learn in the game, and I haven't even touched the tippity top yet. Being pretty good at just one hero doesn't give you plot armor. You're responsible for yourself and the outcome. Whether you're playing into counters or just on a bad map, it's good to put yourself at fault, because seriously, in most situations you could switch, but it's also fun to play my hero, and you gotta be aware of what your weaknesses are gonna be, because if you're going Junkrat into a full-on flyer comp, that's on you, buddy. Better start hitting those grenades, man. There's many one-tricks out there. Some real popular ones are doomfists, mercies, genjis, but you could really one-trick any hero. It just happens that these heroes are pretty popular, which means more people are gonna be like, I'm gonna be the next Zebra or Necros on the ladder, and it's always just a real grind considering the amount of challenges that come with one-tricking. Sometimes you just have a Mercy who will not switch despite having a full team that is just not built for her, or sometimes you just have a really mobile Doom who keeps on going into the back line and just explodes. Or you're gonna have a Genji who thinks he's him. The whole ego thing is weird too, because if you have a one-trick tank they have kind of a big ego, they'll probably be like, well, first they'll probably have everybody complain at them and be like, yo, you should probably switch. What are you doing? Come on, just switch off, man. It's gonna be so much easier if you could just be more flexible. And the tank will probably be like, no, I want you guys to play around me or play heroes that are good into me, because only I matter and everybody should do what I want to do. Or there could be a one-trick Mercy or one-trick Ana or whatever. They'll probably be like, come on guys, come on, I have the most healing in the match. You guys can't do a single thing. Come on, I'm giving you guys the blue beams and stuff. Come on, I have the most healing. But like, what they don't realize is that team is asking the Mercy to swap off and be like, we don't need Mercy now, we need some other we need more utility, come on now. And the Mercy's just like, no. Or you could have a Genji who just full sends into everything and goes in by himself thinking, I'm the main character, and he just constantly dies and blames tank diff, support diff, all these diffs. You really gotta become aware of what could go wrong when you one trick, and you really gotta make up for your weaknesses and where you're lacking. Because remember, the world doesn't revolve around you. This is a team-based game, kinda. So is one-tricking good or bad? Should you one-trick and become the best at a hero? Or should I be constantly swapping and switching and learn how to play to a roster of heroes? Personally, if it wasn't obvious, I love one-tricking and it feels very validating, going against your counters or playing your hero on a bad map. I say one-tricking is okay, and good, with an asterisk. Learning how to play a hero or only playing one hero is super cool in my opinion, although you will have to become aware how much of a detriment you will be in some circumstances and situations, and you have to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Be the one trick you wish to be. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. I've put a lot of effort into it. I'm not taking jabs at one tricks or people that hate at one tricks. I'm just kind of going along, going the pros and cons of being one myself, and the difficulties and the benefits to being one trick. And I love you guys. I love everybody who watches my channel. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Mwah. And remember to subscribe. I'll have more videos coming soon. I'll be live streaming here and there. Downtime whenever I'm working on a video, I'll probably just like stream here and there, but I don't have a schedule yet. That's alright. But yeah, bye everybody.